morning, welcome to Flossmas day 10. The sun is actually out. We have some sunshine for the first time in 10 days. So I can't sit back because I've got Sid on me, or behind me. I've finally brought my dodgy blue tree in from the car, which I need to open up and have a look. We'll have a look at him in a minute. And my gaudy baubles, which I got for it, which I'm going to put in that corner there in front of the post. So, yeah, turns out doing an absolute shit ton of stitches in one day, yeah, it kind of blew my stitchy bug a little bit. I overdid it, silly me. So yesterday I didn't get a lot of stitches in. I can show you what I did. It's almost nothing. I started the Citibank, and yeah, that's all I've done. So there's a little bit of the bottom, which is this rusty colour, 2 colours of red going in there, and I just started the snow, and that's the start of the 2 columns that go either side. So yeah, another day going in on this one today. That's a little bit sad. That's all I did there. And then when I went to my mum's to pick up my little boy, I sat down, had a cup of tea with them, and I put in a silly tiny diddly amount of stitches, just this mustard colour here. I did the wheels of the inside of the wheels of the wagon. They're not got square wheels. The inside of the wheels of the wagon and that colour there, and I've just popped it over to the side because there's a little bit of the border this side. So that's basically the size, and the border's going to go up the side there. So I did a tiny little bit on my Barbara Anna Christmas is Coming. I still want to get this done and dusted through Flossmas as well. And yeah, that's all the stitching I did yesterday. What I did do, because I was kind of overstitching, was finish another 6 bags. Completely finished. Ta-da! So I've got that one there, which is rather pretty, with that on the back. So that is there. And I've got another one of the batik ones with some pretty binding on it, kind of matches in. And my little water birdies, who I absolutely love, I put purple binding on this one because I thought that kind of matched. I had it and it kind of went. And oh, this one, I put the jersey, the bag's lovely. The bag's lovely, just 2 colours of the same. I mean, I've got the reverse of it, but I put the jersey. Oh, that's so nasty to work with. I got this to try and go around the corners on my Flossmas pouches last year, because I did vinyl pouches last year with a binding around the edge. Oh, it was hideous to work with then. It's hideous to work with now. By the time I got to the last bit, it had rolled itself into a tube, which is what jersey does when you cut a strip of it. It rolls into a tube eventually, so it was no longer binding. It was more like sewing on a piece of I-cord. It was horrible. I stitched it on. The bag is done. I'm happy. On we go. And then, oh, here's this gorgeous fabric. I only bought a little bit of this fabric. I think I got this fabric in Dunelm, but look how it actually it's obviously not matched because there's a gap, but look, it's lined up but not matched because there's the mushroom and there's the mushroom. It's kind of strange. And on the back here, this is gorgeous fabric. Look, I have a little weaselly guy there and just the head of one of the deers sticking their noses up. So I really love this bag, and I put this kind of beigey buff. I had a fat quarter in this, and I just thought, I'm not realistically going to use this. So I cut it into the square and made the binding, which is lovely. And then the last one I finished is a very, very plain little bag there. So the binding is actually the same as the lining, but because the sparkly vinyl's over it, the vinyl never sparkles well on the camera. It's got a rainbow sparkle in it. This one actually just looks silver. I might have ironed it too much. I think if you iron it a bit, as I say, I've used up all my offcuts and some of it was very crumpledy, so you can't iron it. But what you can do is I iron my iron pad and then put the vinyl on top of it, and then put something on top of it and sort of very lightly sort of steam it through, and it takes the rainbow out of the sparkle. So this one's like got a silver glitter on it instead of the rainbow that the others all have. Very strange. Anyway, so yes, this is a very plain grown-up bag. So I now have a dozen finished. I've got 2 more to stitch to actually do the whip stitch on the back, and then all the others are on the floor in the living room because I'm the only person home, so it doesn't matter that I've put them out on the hardwood floor. And I've laid the bindings out on top, so every bag now has binding on top of it to be stitched. So I'm not matching up. I've done the matching up. Now I just need to sit at the machine, sew a few more on. I'll do all the singles, and then I can do the folding, the clipping, and then I can do the whip stitching. But I did get 6 stitched up, or 6.5, the halves through there. This is the one with the join right by the binding. So it was nearly big enough. Excuse me. So the vinyl was nearly big enough, but not quite, and I didn't want to make the bag 1/2 inch shorter. So I decided that lovely bag that I've now completely lost, this one, I'm going to put my Renato Parrel in because it's got the deers. So I am probably going to match some of the projects to the bags, but that's slated for a finish. So when that gets finished, I've got the bag spare for something else, you know, when it gets pulled for whip go. So this morning I've taken my car, which I probably didn't tell you, my dear little powder blue Citroen C1. Yeah, its exhaust fell off the other day. The new exhaust that I had fixed August, I think it went in. The back box was dragging along the floor, like filled with petrol. Reversed the car because the guy in front popped his bonnet, and then obviously you can't get out when you're in a garage forecourt. I was at Asda. That's when I bought this. When I popped to Asda, I filled with fuel and then drove away, and I could hear something scraping on the road, and that's never a good sign. So I drove down to get out of the supermarket. It's quite a slope, and it got louder and louder, and I thought, right, okay, this isn't going to work. So I pulled up immediately, like onto the pavement, got out. My back box is like on the road going and basically the rubbers that hold the back box and the exhaust pipe is the bit I'm talking about. But where it fit, the pipe under the car from the engine with the exhaust goes through the cap, and then it comes down the back of the car to the back box and through all the baffles that takes all the dirty stuff out of it, or whatever it does. That pipe was completely, honestly, it looked like it had been there 300 years, and it was completely sheared off. So lovely guy from Volvo, little old chap, came and got down on his hands and knees and went, oh dear, your back box looks new. I was like, it is new, it's flipping well fallen off. And there was no way of me like connecting it up or anything. It was just loose in my hand, and I gave it a wiggle to see if I could take it off, and it was obviously joined on at one end, so I couldn't get it off. He went, oh, hang on, lassie, and he went and got 2 cable ties. So for the last 6 or 7 days, 5 or 6 days, I've been driving it around with 2 cable ties holding the back of my car together, holding the exhaust up. So I immediately drove to the garage and went, you know that exhaust you fitted in August, do you remember? I said, it's fallen off. They were like, what? Like, yes. So the earliest I could get a courtesy car was today. So I took Flora to school this morning. She was a bit mumpy because she thought we were going to be late. We weren't late. And I've taken my car to the garage and told them about the oil leak, because it's been leaking oil a lot, and I've been a chicken, put my head in the sand and just bought oil and topped it up every time the oil light gets really, really like scary flashy. This is the hazard of having enough engineering knowledge to know that an engine light doesn't mean the car's about to explode. And my car's old enough so it doesn't have all the computers in it, so it won't stop and go, I'm not going any further because I've got a problem. My car will just keep going until it dies because it's that old. It's 12. So I've been really worried that I've cracked the sump or something, because I did crack the sump on an old Nissan I had. And I know sumps are really expensive, so I've just been putting oil in it, looking the other way. So when it went in, I went and I talked about the exhaust, and the guy who actually fitted the exhaust was waiting for it. And he went, right, I'm getting it straight up on the ramp, and I'm going to see what's happened to that. And I was like, yes, please, because it shouldn't have fallen off. And he was like, absolutely not. And I said, oh, and it's leaking oil, and I'm really worried about that. So could you have a look at that and quote me for it, please? And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a whole sump. It's going to be like so much money. Yeah, the oil filter was leaking. So I think possibly when it was in last time, they obviously checked the oil filter, possibly didn't do it up quite right, because it wasn't, I don't think it was leaking before. Anyway, it was just leaking out of the oil filter. So I've had the quote, I've accepted the quote. It's not very much, thank goodness. And I'll probably get a text this afternoon saying my car's ready. Either way, I'll get it tomorrow. I'll go to work early, go and swap my car, the courtesy car for my car, and then go to work tomorrow. Quite looking forward to going back to work. It's been a bit long. I said to Richard last night, you know, I'm not bored, but I want to go back to work now. I'm not quite ready to not do anything, you know? So anyway, that's been what I've done this morning. So I got back here, I sorted out the two drawers that were in my car this morning. Getting them out this morning made me a little bit later, leaving like 2 minutes. So Flora was in a bit of a 16-year-old teenage girl flap with me, which I don't appreciate at all. She's an absolute sweetheart until she's not, you know, like a lot of teenage girls we've all been in contact with, I'm sure. But I just wish she wasn't so grumpy with me in the mornings and understands that I'm trying to get to school on time. It's not my fault the road is apparently closed and I had to go on a detour. Yeah, and it took me an extra 2 minutes to get an enormous drawer full of her stuff out of the car. Anyway, yeah, it's done. So I've sorted all that out. The drawers are waiting to go to the tip. I've got a bin bag full, and I've already sorted one of the boxes that's in the conservatory. There's 2 more boxes I can see from here that I think I can sort really quickly. I'll do those, and then that's started on the pile in here, which can only be helpful, can't it, really? So I'll do that later. Richard was on a late, so he's just gone to work. Well, he went to work an hour ago. And in that time, I have picked up Pandemic. Now, my Pandemic, I would like in WhipGo to get it to 25% finished, which I think is a really good round number kind of goal. Quarter done, brilliant. That worked out at 6,500 stitches. So if I can get, I think the goal around about 5,000 is going to be doable. We'll find out in January, and we'll know immediately in January if 5,000 stitches into a piece is too much. We'll know. If I'm playing catch up all year, I'm playing catch up all year. But I think 6.5's a bit of a big ask. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some stitches into it now, knock down the total a bit, and instead of putting a goal of 5k on my little piece of cardboard, I'm going to put 25%. So what I've sorted out for myself is 3 strands of my Mrs. Sadis silk, which is 6-stranded, and I've put in 3 strands this morning, and that's 304 stitches. So basically 1 strand this long, that's that long, 1 strand that long is about 100 stitches depending on the carrying. The one strand that didn't do just over the 100 is the one that I carried from, you can't probably see, I carried it from there down to there. So what I did, I found a motif here, and I've stitched, and just this very tippy top, the first 6 stitches of it were in, so it was place marked already. So I've stitched this little motif. This is 304 stitches, and I've come up the side here, and it is actually going to fit. This here interlocks between these 2 blobs. It intersects there, and it's in line. So I'm happy with that. I'm just expecting all of this to be out as I find it, because I know there's 2 or 3 big mistakes in it so far. But so I'm expecting things to not line up. So that is actually going to line up there. So I've got another 15 strands here. So essentially I've got about 1,500-ish stitches in this thread here. So if I can get all of this, or most of this, into Pandemic now, not maybe all today, but, you know, into Pandemic now, that will make my goal just under 5,000, which I think is totally doable next year. So this is one of my little, I think one of 3 things that I need to have a little look at before we actually step into Whip Go. So I'm pleased I've pulled him. I just needed to just take a step and do something completely different. Take a step and do something completely different for a minute. Ooh, this cardboard's a bit damp. Back of my car is slightly leaky. Ooh, oh, that's nice. We have a battery pack. 20 warm white LED lights with a plastic stand. I have a plastic stand and I have a battery pack. I'll get some batteries for it then. I don't think we have any AA batteries at the moment. I'll go and grab some today when I go and do a little bit of shopping for tea. Because we were looking for some for the Xbox controller. For reasons we don't understand, the only Xbox controller that the kids have, Richard's kids, the three of them share two Xboxes. Partly because one of them is surgically attached to his, so they needed another solution. The controller that actually physically works is the one that has batteries. And I'm like, well, why on earth have you got one with batteries instead of being one that charges? And Richard doesn't know. He doesn't know when he got it. He doesn't know when he picked it up. But anyway, that's how I know we don't have any AA's at the minute. So I'll pick some up later on. And this is a rather garish, bright turquoise. I wouldn't even call it blue. Oh yeah, it has a string of lights on it. Garish blue tree. Wow, how marvellous. Isn't it ghastly? I mean, I nearly got the white one. They had green ones, they had white ones, and they had blue ones. And of course, I looked at the white one and thought, well, that's aesthetic. And then bought the blue one. Because that's much more me. A turquoise tree, not even like a really nice flocked navy blue or something. No. Bright turquoise, plastic as you like. This will probably last me donkey's years. All my kids had these in their bedrooms, but they were all absolutely knackered. You know, like bits missing off them. But they all had a tree in their bedroom at one point. Because over the years, I've not been able to resist just getting and buying. I'm sort of over that now, says the woman who just checked out her Amazon basket this morning. There's 18 items coming. Okay. I've got the long cables that somebody suggested for my to hold my threads for my cross stitch studio. So I've got those coming. The cables that will hold the threads, because honestly I filled a ring completely. Austin was wearing this as a wig yesterday. Oh, that boy, he's outstanding, my little man. He is an outstanding human. Yeah, he immediately picked up my threads, which are completely packed onto the ring. Me knowing I'm just needing them together, you know, as I'm covering them with putting the threads onto the. Oh, they're not strung. Don't you hate it when the baubles come and they're not strung and you get this pile of stuff? Anyhow, yeah, so he plopped the ring on top of his head and then like parted it, and there was just like threads. I want to say DMC, but it's CXC. So I've done about a third of them. I'm nearly down through my first bag of threads that I ordered. So get them out of that. I'll pop that in the recycling bucket. Yeah, so the cables are coming. So that was one of the items, and I've got needle minder magnets, which I need every month for my Needle Minder of the Month Club. And if you're in my Needle Minder of the Month Club, I'm well aware it is the 10th today, and I usually invoice on the 10th. I'm going to invoice probably tomorrow, and they will be ready to post by the weekend. So we'll get there for December. So your invoices for December will be going out. I'm also going to catch myself up with my eBay listings. I think partly the reason I haven't had any orders is because I haven't listed the things. There's also that to consider, the fact that I haven't actually got with the programme and listed the items. So I'm going to catch myself up, because only number 2 and number 4 are listed. I've got number 6 and number 8 I can put up. There aren't many needle threaders actually. I think I've only got 2 or 3 spares. But I will get those listed up, and then probably tomorrow when I do the video for tomorrow, when I give away number 10, which I'm going to open in a moment, having got myself waylaid stringing baubles, I'll put the link down below tomorrow probably for the well, they're nice little baubles, but they need to be not so high. There we go. Yes, they need to be short. They need to be on little short lengths because it's a little short tree. Okay, so we'll do that. So I'm going to string one more of these, and then I'll get an open packet number 10. Packet number 10, for those who have got a box and haven't opened their number yet, is a different shape. Hang on, give me a second. Of course, this one's now not tying into a knot neatly for me. I am halfway through watching White Christmas, like the proper movie, and I had no idea it wasn't a Christmas movie. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I didn't realise it was a good old-fashioned musicale. If I had have done, I'd have watched it years ago, because I was basically brought up on watching Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musicals, because my parents always loved them. So yes, so my tree, which I'm putting these a rather funny, clear but iridescent-y, very plastic tree, very plastic baubles. We're not single-using him. I'm going to use him year after year after year from now on. So yes, I've bought single-use plastic, but I'm going to use it multiple. I'm going to use it for years. Like my Christmas dress, which was plastic, which is the most plasticky polyester you'll ever come across. I've worn, it'll be, I think, 7 years now. So yeah, I'm getting use out of that too. Anyway, here is packet number 10. It's different shape. I'm really pleased with these. So I'm going to open this. This is the giveaway for tomorrow. So leave me any kind of comment, and I'll do a dip tomorrow. Okay, so in packet number 10, which I've opened really poorly, I might rewrap this when I send it, is this little guy. That little guy. It's got a nice little popper on the front, and it is a little thread bed. A little fabric thread bed with the piece of felt, so you can put your loose threads in, close it, pop it shut. I put a little ring on the bottom. I did a little tab and a little ring, so you can clip on a charm or a scissor fob. You can clip it to your scissors. Whatever you want to do. I put a little ring on it, and so we've got a little thread bed. So if you've got a number 10 in your box, I hope you like your number 10. That is with the fabric that matches, but was the extra fabric, because oh my goodness, did I run out of fabric. And yeah, so this is the other fabric. Some of you might have got a couple of rare ones with the string of lights. If you've got a string of lights one, you've dipped in, you're lucky, because I didn't have very much of that left. I used every scrap of that, and that was the last scraps. So if you've got one of those, you're in the minority, because almost everybody got one of these with the baubles, which is lovely fabric, and it is part of the same set. That's number 10. So leave me a comment, and I will do a dip tomorrow for number 10 there. Crikey, that's 10 up. I'll get my, oh, hello Sid. Hello buddy. He's here, just there. He likes sitting in the gap between the 2 cushions. That's one of my baubles gone. Right, so yeah, leave me any kind of comment. I can't believe how many some of you have got in Pattern Keeper. Now I use Pattern Keeper for active whips. I have got 2. I did say I've got 2. I've got that Folk Pumpkin, which I really like but didn't get round to starting, and that's the key. I didn't get round to starting it. I did mean to start it, but it's in Pattern Keeper kind of for no reason, because I'm not going to start it this year now, because I'm whipgoed. I'm whipgoed up to my eyeballs, I think. I might have over whipgoed myself. And the other one is a Halloween pattern that I got the same time as the ones I was going to do. I was going to do my children for Halloween, but didn't quite get them even remotely finished, so couldn't. But I might well take them out of Pattern Keeper, because obviously I've got the PDFs. I've got the PDFs stored in my Google Drive, so there's no reason for them to be in Pattern Keeper. And if I finish a piece, I do delete it off my Pattern Keeper once. Caveat to that is I have got Anzac and Opening Gambit still on my old phone in Pattern Keeper, because I haven't done the backstitch yet, and at the time the PDFs are probably not on the phone, so I've hung on to them because the PDF is stored in Pattern Keeper, because you can view the PDF for the backstitch. But now when I download a pattern, I immediately send it to Google Drive, as well as keeping it, you know, safe on my phone. But I didn't used to do that, and then it went into Pattern Keeper, and then if I changed my device, like some of them were downloaded onto my tablet and then I sent them over to Pattern Keeper, I didn't save it, if you see what I mean. So I have got two of them, partly because I think they're old enough for the patterns to be on the phone that I smashed, and the patterns, the PDFs that were stored only in that phone are gone forever, because I had a 2-second warning of the screen going black. It was like bleh, and that was it. It was dead, and there was nothing there. So I'm getting my baubles on here on my funky tree. I'll see what else, when the decorations come down, I'll see what else I can pop on this, but this should be in place tomorrow for us. And I've done enough gabbling for the literally 340 stitches in here, about 50 stitches in here, and 304 stitches in there. So not very much. So you can see some days I don't. Some days I do, and some days I don't. It just depends. And Treasure Hunt Bookshelf's looking at me again going, you know, you could put some stitches into me, and I think I might, because I still need to catch up. I just needed to not look at it yesterday. And that's obviously the key, is to not sicken yourself with things. So I will see you tomorrow with my Christmas tree in place. I'll give away that little thread bed, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Back to work tomorrow. Yay. I think yay. I think I'm thinking yay. Right. It's definitely time to go back. Okay. Gosh, it's 20 to 1. Oh, it's late. Right. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye for now.